Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content. I want to talk about something that happened yesterday in sports that I've always sort of rolled my eyes at. Players-only meetings. The 76ers had one last year. The Bulls had one in Chicago. The Dolphins had one this year. How'd they all work out? By the way, Oklahoma City had a team meeting at half court to hoist a trophy. Player-only meetings are called lunch. If it lasts longer than that, you're in trouble. Sit down, have a ham sandwich after practice, chop it up for 15, 20 minutes. This thing yesterday between Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Jalen Hurts went about 2 hours. Nick Wright and I talked about it yesterday. Oh, boy. I wish my kids would have had a kids-only meeting. That would have been funny. But my takeaway on this is Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, and he's got some strengths, including strength, maturity, mobility, but he's a non-traditional quarterback. You know whose receivers love their quarterback? Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's, Baker Mayfield's. Those guys sit in the pocket and throw darts. That's not what Jalen Hurts is. He's a very unique quarterback that doesn't play the position like the all-time greats do. That doesn't mean he doesn't have great traits, or he's not a tremendous leader and a tremendous quarterback. But he's going to struggle throughout his career with wide receivers because he's not really that guy. And what's interesting about this drama in Philadelphia, in week 1, A.J. Brown had 1 target. And I defended him. I said, you got to target him. But in the last 4 weeks, A.J. Brown, the star receiver, has as many targets, believe it or not, as Justin Jefferson. They're trying to get him the ball. They've overcorrected. And to me, it's getting in the way of the offense. Remember, last year, Philadelphia had a bye. They came out after the bye and decided, we're going to throw less. And they never lost. They're now trying, it's the old square peg, round hole. They're trying to change their offense to appease A.J. Brown, and you saw it last week. At one point, they led Denver at one point 17-3. And in that game, at one point, they ran the ball passed the ball like 8-9 straight times. That's not what you do. Philadelphia is known for running the ball when they trail. So when Philadelphia leads at home by a couple of touchdowns, you don't throw the ball 8-9 straight times. That's not what Philadelphia is. And so to me, when I hear players-only meeting, first of all, I always wonder, how many teams did Jim Harbaugh have, or Belichick have, or Andy Reid have that needed to have player-only meetings with a winning record? I think Philadelphia's got a coaching crisis. I think Sirianni is not a scheme guy, so his teams are very coordinator dependent, and they moved up a passing game coordinator who'd never called plays, and now the players are taking it into their own hands. Miami had one of these a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks later, they lost to Carolina. In fact, they blew a lead to Carolina. So, I mean, this is what Jalen Hurts, here's how the players-only meeting with 3 stars went.
It's just us talking about the collective, talking about taking ownership for what we can, and talking about how we move forward as a team so we continue to find ways to win games. It's really just teammates being teammates. I know this is a hungry group. I know we're hungry, and I know we're excited for all the opportunity in front of us to continue to improve. That's what matters most, because we won't go out there and win as individuals. We'll go out there and win as a team.
Exactly, but this is an offense that signature play looks like rugby. That's what they are, and it's okay, and everybody should know it. But let's not kid ourselves. In the last 4 weeks, they're targeting A.J. Brown as much as Minnesota is targeting Justin Jefferson. They're trying. But Carson Wentz, frankly, is a bigger pocket guy than Jalen Hurts. He may be better in the pocket than Jalen Hurts. Not saying he's a better quarterback, but this has always been a non-traditional offense. So I think over the course of Jalen's career, he'll have issues with star wide receivers. Baker doesn't. Tom didn't. Manning didn't. They're traditional quarterbacks. So that's where we are this morning. We all know this. For anybody listening in their car, watching on TV or YouTube, all of us are better when we have that one great boss. And one of the things, it's hard sometimes when you work at a company that people are coming and going. You got a new boss and they have a new worldview. And I think one of the things that's really important for young quarterbacks and all quarterbacks, do you have an offensive coach? So if the coordinator leaves, you still have an offensive coach, and offensive coaches have a different sensibility, a softer touch with quarterbacks. So right now, Detroit's on pace. The Detroit Lions are on pace to score the most points in the history of the NFL. Who's the quarterback? Jared Goff. And what's remarkable, not that he leads the NFL in completion percentage or passing touchdowns. He's on his 7th offensive coordinator, and he's had one bad season with Jeff Fisher. Every other coach has worked. 2 head coaches, 7 coordinators. And I said this when he came out. He's durable as hell. Guy never gets hurt. I mean, he's the only quarterback to play every regular season game week 1 of 2022 until today. He's the only one. Crazy durable. He got the you-know-what kicked out of him at Cal, stood up, ready to play every next Saturday. 6'4", great mechanics, sees the field, really accurate. Yes, Sean McVay got him to a Super Bowl. But we didn't know if Dan Campbell was a good coach. We didn't know. He was an interim before, and everybody thought he was, he's kind of a rah-rah guy. 7 coordinators. Jared Goff's, folks, get used to hearing this. Jared Goff's going to be a Hall of Famer. Absolutely going to be a Hall of Famer. No question. No question is going to be a Hall of Famer. He plays in rhythm. He plays in structure. He got great genetics. His dad played in the bigs. Jared Goff is going to be a Hall of Famer. You're going to have to, you guys out there, this is not the NBA where style points matter. I mean, Westbrook is a guard that can't shoot. He'll make the Hall of Fame and should, because his stylistically, Russell Westbrook athletically is so memorable and so unique. He should make the Hall of Fame. But he's a guard that doesn't shoot particularly well, which is okay if you're a power forward in the 70s, but you want your guards to shoot well. And that's not a knock on Westbrook. First ballot Hall of Famer. But a lot of you guys get caught up on style. That this is not the NBA. Style doesn't matter. Style matters in basketball. Basketball is a more artistic sport. Basketball, everybody's jump shot. Birds look different than Kobe's, look different than Michael's, look different than Dr. J, look different than Steph Curry. It's a style sport. It matters. You can be a Hall of Famer and never win a playoff game. But in the NFL, you can't. You got to win playoff games. And so I know this, you think this is an outrageous comment. I have seen Goff, go back to the game in which Jared Goff, as a Ram, outdueled Patrick Mahomes, and go look at Jared Goff's receivers in that game. There was no Puka, right? So Jared Goff's a really good player. And here's another thing. Have you ever noticed with Jared Goff that his coordinators get head coaching jobs? He's like a stimulus package. Every coordinator he has, everybody's like, man, that's a good coordinator. Yeah, because they have Jared Goff. Right now, he's completing over 75% of his throws. Well, he's got a good O-line. So do the Colts. So do the Denver Broncos. So do the Philadelphia Eagles, and they can't get their offense right. Philadelphia's got the best offensive line in football. They can't pass. They can't run. Jared Goff's completing 75% of his throws. Passer rating at 121. Now, he's not real mobile. He's not real stylish. Whatever. You think I'm crazy? Jared Goff's in his prime. This offensive line in this front office, they just drafted interior offensive linemen. They're not getting rid of Penei Sewell. This offensive line's going nowhere. Nowhere. Rams, his former team, have offensive line issues. Lions won't. Here's Taylor Decker, offensive tackle, on what you get. Big praise for Goff.
We got a superstar quarterback who can do everything, make every throw, knows the whole playbook, knows the defenses, prepares incredibly, and he's not afraid to take a hit. We don't want him to get hit, but if he has to, he's not afraid.
Go back to his Cal games. I watched him get ragdolled at Cal. Bad offensive lines. The guy kept standing up and taking the hits. You think, when I say that Jared Goff's a Hall of Famer, all of you are like, whoa. It's not even going to be close. He got to a Super Bowl. Go look at his numbers. They're insane. He's like Kirk Cousins with a much better arm. He's Matt Ryan with a much better arm. There's an argument Goff's got the best mechanics in the league. He has great mechanics, super accurate. No ego. And again, well, he's got a good O-line. So does Philadelphia. They can't figure out half their offense. So do the Colts. So do the Broncos. He's second in touchdown passes since 2017. Jared Goff, second. You don't think he's making the Hall of Fame?
Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. They're a great partner. October baseball is here, baby. The pressure's higher, the moments are bigger. One swing can change everything. Hard Rock Bet lets you get in on every pitch. So if you're a new customer, you place a $5 bet. If it hits, a $5 bet hits, you not only get your winnings, but also $150 in extra bonus bets. Plus, every day this week on Hard Rock Bet, you can get a profit boost for a playoff baseball parlay. There are new promos every day. Boost your same game parlay or your SGP max so your bet pays extra winnings. So if you want to see what everybody else is betting on tonight, who's going to homer, top picks or parlays across any sport, the Hard Rock Bet app literally shows you. Easy, cool. Another reason, download the Hard Rock Bet app. Takes you 90 seconds. Tap Discover, and you can see trending picks and parlays at any time. Download the Hard Rock Bet app. Make your first deposit. Have fun.
Here we go. It's hour 2. It's the Herd, the show that wants to actually see Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl at halftime. Great to be back. Joel Klatt's going to be joining us in a couple of minutes. All fired up. So I saw this right now. It's not an anomaly. I think this is the future of the NFL. So J-Mac right now, this is incredible. There are 15 current NFL quarterbacks, almost half the league, with a passer rating over 100. Okay, last year it was 11. The year before it was 6. So when people complain about quarterback play, this is the best it's ever been in my life. I think there are 3 reasons why it's the best I've ever seen in my life. Number 1, the coaching. There's never been this many great young coaches. These Sean McVays and Kevin O'Connells, they're teachers, they're mentors. And it's like we got like 7 Sean Payton and Andy Reids out there who are very good mentors. So the coaching, the young quarterback coaching. I mean, watch Trevor Lawrence Monday with Liam Cohen. He's a flawed quarterback. This is the best, most comfortable, I think. Well, comfortable. They kind of go back and forth. But it's the best Trevor Lawrence has ever been. So the coaching, there's just more smart guys coaching. Secondly, quarterbacks are getting personal coaching, 7-on-7. They just have more snaps coming out of college. I mean, Bo Nix had 61 college starts. Jaden Daniels, 55. Brock Purdy had almost 50. And that doesn't count the 7-on-7 coaching, the summer stuff. So the quarterbacks come in with more reps, more completions, more attempts, better coaching. And the third thing that doesn't get talked about is that because almost all quarterbacks, not named Stafford and Jared Goff, are mobile. And because they're mobile, you have to play zone defense now in the NFL. You can't turn your back on a quarterback. And so zone defense allows for quarterbacks to hit spots. So quarterbacks have better coaches to hit spots, more starts coming into the NFL to hit spots, and they're good at hitting spots. They're not having to do, now Aaron Rodgers is still a guy that throws the great back shoulder. Aaron Rodgers is so precise, it works. He can not only hit the spots, but Aaron has a way of throwing guys open. Not a lot of quarterbacks do. There are not a lot of Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady was talking about it this past weekend. And I don't care what the PFF number says. I think Aaron's playing smart, great football. Here was Tom this weekend.
Beyond impressed, and I think at that age, there's so many other factors that come into play about how to be a great quarterback. And, we all want to talk about what happens in the offseason with him, and there's some things there's a lot of narratives out there. Yeah, there's a lot of that. It's a little different. But what we know about him on the field is he's a surgical passer. He's got a killer instinct. He's hyper-competitive. And I think he's brought all those things to Pittsburgh.
And look at these numbers. In the last 3 years alone, in 2023, one quarterback completed 70+% of his throws. Last year, 5, this year, 9. Now, it may end up being 6 or 7, 100-plus passer ratings. 3 years ago, 6. Last year, 11. Now 15. Now, we've had very nice, warm fall weather. That helps, too. Good weather helps quarterbacks. Buffalo played New England. It's 80. Okay, so some years it's 46 and it's windy. But the quality of quarterback play, the coaching's better. The kids are getting personal coaching and more snaps, and everybody's playing zone. And when you're playing zone, for some of these guys, like the Bakers that have been around in this league forever, it's a lot of pitch and catch if you get the right coach. J-Mac with the news.
No.
Turn on the news. This is the Herd Line News.
Let's dive into the NFL, shall we? And the AFC North, the quarterbacks they're dropping like flies, Colin. And Aaron Rodgers somehow is the fossil in the division, and the Steelers are in first, and he's healthy. Go figure. Joe Burrow not expected back soon. Lamar, we don't know. Mike Tomlin, no, he's not focused on any of that. Here's your boy, Mike Tomlin.
I don't care what happened with other people, particularly last weekend. It's about us coming off the bye and getting ready for our game this week. I'm not a big picture guy.
I'm not a big picture guy. Listen, he's sitting pretty. You want to name the other starters in the division right now outside of Aaron Rodgers? It might be Joe Flacco, who could start in Cincinnati this week.
I think he
just got benched by the Browns, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes you get good fortune. I mean, there are teams have often benefited in the NFC West when San Francisco's fallen apart. So, I mean, I don't think the Steelers are a great team.
No.
Even their highly paid defense isn't particularly
it's
something
awful.
to marvel at.
It's bottom 10 so far.
But the bottom line is Burrow gets hurt a lot. Baltimore's roster gets banged up a lot. Cleveland's Cleveland. So, I mean, they've earned it. I mean, Pittsburgh's found a way to win games inartistically. There's a value in that. They're not pretty. They're a little old defensively in spots. They're very expensive. But you know what? They got a playmaker in TJ Watt. They've got playmakers on that defensive side. Aaron's not making mistakes. Aaron's throwing the ball underneath, keeping it safe. They got one big play guy in DK Metcalf. I thought losing Najee, their left tackle, and Pickens would be an issue. But unlike the Jets, because I thought it was going to look like the Jets, but a better organization, the difference is the Steelers find ways to win games, and the Jets find ways to lose games. In Pittsburgh, there is something to be said about organizational structure and strength and confidence, and Mike Tomlin's been there so many times. So you give them credit. I don't think they're a pretty team or a great team. It doesn't matter. They're winning games.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know if we get the Steelers schedule on the screen, but Colin, let's be real. Their opponents have handed them games. The Patriots had 5 turnovers. You know, who would you take neutral field right now, Patriots or Steelers? Give me the Patriots all day. They faced Carson Wentz, Drake May. They lost to Darnold and Justin Fields. I know you can only play who's on your schedule, but I'm just saying that back end, okay, the Bills are going to they're going to right the ship. Lamar's going to be fine.
I think you're overvaluing how tough the back end is.
Detroit, that's a loss.
Well, I mean,
the
Colts and Packers are tough games. They get them both at home. The Chargers, will they be healthy?
They
Bengals,
should be by
Burrow?
week 10. Oh, hold on. Hampton and Alt should be back by week 10. The Bears could be frisky in Chicago. I think you give them the 2 losses to Lamar, the loss to the Bills, loss to the Lions. Listen, you and I like the Steelers this week a lot, okay? Irrationally. The line is starting to tick up. Yeah. They got the Browns. I just don't like their long-term outlook.
That's fair. It was. And what's interesting is Mike Tomlin's teams. This is interesting. I don't have it in front of me, but they've not been great in their last 5 or 6 games of the year. Why would that be? I've always had this theory that Mike Tomlin is very inspirational and very motivating. He's not a big picture guy. He is a Sunday guy. And I do think over the course of a season, that plays well early, but players tune it out late. I mean, you can only give so many motivational speeches, and I think it has a great effect early in the season. He's an inspiring guy. He's a great speaker. He's an incredible motivator. But in the end of a season, when you're beat up, that's not what it is. It's a scheme league late, because you don't have full rosters and everybody's beat up. And that's why Kyle Shanahan should be coach of the year. What Kyle Shanahan's doing in San Francisco is insane. That's amazing coaching. He's got 40% of his top-end starters are out, maybe 50%. So I think what happens with the Steelers is they start well, a lot of motivation, chest out, but then they get beat up. They don't have some of their playmakers. The margins shrink, and that's when it becomes a scheme league. When situational football matters, We'll see how they play then.
Yeah, and it's still in the honeymoon phase with Rodgers and his OC, Arthur Smith. Everybody waiting for that to crumble. Let's go to the next story. That's your Chicago Bears. Now, do you remember last year when the Bears met the Commanders? It was a classic game. It won on a Hail Mary. The Bears defensive back was like pointing at the crowd, talking trash as the play starts. Just a memorable Hail Mary. Well, Ben Johnson is not entertaining any conversations about last year's debacle.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to talk to those guys about it. We're a new team, and we're just focused on winning this game this week.
That's exactly what you should say. Stay away. Bad karma to talk about that mess.
So where are you on this game? Because I've given it some thought. Here is the Hail Mary on FS1.
This is just... And remember the end zone shot when you had the Bear defensive back?
I think it was Stevenson was the guy acting all goofy.
Lord.
I mean, this is a heave. But this is 65 yards in the air by Jaden.
It's not all coaching because this happens about once a year, so there is some value. But you had a defensive back talking to fans, Stevenson.
And then he's the one who tipped it. He was out of position. He should have been the back-end guy. Commanders are -4.5, so they got to win by 5 at home, coming off a big road trip to the Chargers, where they didn't look good early, but man, did they finish strong, Colin. Last 3 quarters, they dominated the Chargers. Bears off of a bye. Do you have any lean here?
I like the Commanders. Again, Chicago has been an outfit over the last 10 years. They've not been a great road team. I think what you watched, you saw it live last week. Don't forget how great Jaden Daniels was last year. Last week in that second half, you were watching him throw darts.
No Terry McLaurin last week. He's expected, maybe he's expected.
This is one of my favorite plays of the weekend. I like the Commanders. McLaurin's back. Folks, quarterback play, Jaden Daniels. Don't forget, because he's been banged up, how good he was last year. Now, this is second year in the system. Now they've got Debo, McLaurin back. I think this point forward, the Commanders are going to be one of the hotter teams in the league starting this week.
Okay. Final story is, that little team in Kansas City. They are under 500. Colin, we often cannot say that about these lucky guys. Patrick Mahomes spoke about the Chiefs needing to quit beating themselves.
We crush ourselves with penalties and mistakes and interceptions and fumbles or whatever that is. I mean, it's just we've kind of done that to ourselves all year long. It's kind of been one guy here or there, and in this league, it's so close that those change games. And so we got to be better. You know, we've lost too many games already.
Well, when you pay the quarterback a lot of money, you got to get young somewhere. You got to get young and cheap. And they've got a lot of young guys on the special teams. I think they had 5 special teams penalties. So, I mean, that's the reality is when you're paying the quarterback top of the market, Dallas has a little bit of this. It's kind of running back by committee or receiver by committee or special teams by committee. And so they're young. But I think Kansas City's issues, holding penalties on punts or kicks, that stuff's correctable. You can get out of that.
What about Chris Jones' laziness and Harrison Butker kicking it out to bounds?
Harrison's not having a great year.
Yeah. He's on my fantasy team. I'm aware.
He's not having a great year. That's what kickers are, upstairs. They go sideways fast.
We do talk with this about this in the offseason a lot. 1-score games. They were 11-0 last year. I know Chiefs fans don't want to hear it. That stuff is fluky. You can't go 11-0 in 1-score games and expect it to happen again. They're 0-3 in those this year. We said before the season started, I had them finishing second in their division to Denver as a wild card team. And I said, if they go 500 in 1-score games, if they went 4-4, you'd feel pretty good. You'd like to go 5-3 with Andy Reid. You probably do. But the truth is, recovering fumbles and 1-score wins, there's a randomness. It's not totally random because I do think McVay's or Reed or Sean Payton, I do think there are certain coaches who do bring out really smart plays situationally. I mean, why Andy Reid in Philly and Andy Reid in Kansas City, he's always been good on third down. He's always been good in the red zone. There are coaches that are better. When we watched this past weekend, Sean Payton against Philly, and they go for it on the 2-point conversion. That was a great play.
It was a great play. Does a defensive coach have that? And so I think 1-score wins are not as random as fumble recoveries. I think there's something to be said about some teams are better coached, and their better coached team win close game. Josh McDaniels and Brady won a lot of 1-score games every year.
Yeah. Real quick, Chiefs taking money. This was a pick 'em. They're out to 2.5. My read is Everybody saw the Chiefs look really good against the Jags.
No, I think Detroit's the play.
I think I'm with you here. You're saying 4-4 one-score games. We'll see. They got to eventually win one, right? They're going to eventually win one of these.
How do you know
games.
it's a one-score game?
You think Lions blast them?
I think this is the last game where Kansas City really struggles. I think they're going to struggle a little bit, and then I think they go on a tear when Rashee Rice comes back the following week.
What about Xavier Worthy? Where was he Monday night? Superstar. Boy, when you pair Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, that's like John Taylor and Jerry Rice. Remember with the Niners linking up? I mean, how do you stop that?
Listen, you're having a ball right now because you hate Kansas City.
I don't hate them. I got Mahomes on my fantasy team. I'm rooting for them. I want to be right on my prediction. And I got a good feeling about the Broncos and Chargers in the AFC West.
All right. J. Mac with the news.